Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VeVe Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, smashing the super thanks button down below, super chats as well. This will be my little video essay question to VeVe about what the heck, guys. So, Wind the Clock's back a couple months ago. There were certain days where we had 500 daily active users on the app, which is not a lot at all. And since the beginning of August, there's been at least 2 days where we've had over 2,000 active users on the app, which is great. I love that. The average amount of users has pretty much doubled on any given day, which is great. And every now and then we have like a 4Xer, which is fantastic. So the secret rare metallic Spider-Man Comic-Con, that sold out. That's great. And I don't know if the edition size of Spidey 2099 was affected by that metallic red Spider-Man drop, because that was like $500 or 500 editions, like $40. Like, okay, cool. Sold out right away. And then you had Spidey 2099, which not a Peter Parker, and obviously metallic red Spider-Man's a con exclusive, which is great. You know, you have a collectible that is arguably one of the best looking on the app. The Spidey 2099 one that we just got looked so good, and you had people like you have in the macro at this time, you know, like a month ago, ETH going up. You have Milady Makers going up, Pudgy Penguins, Moonbirds. We'll get to Moonbirds later, and you see like, okay, some of the grails were rising. You see some of the partner statues rising. You see Todd McFarlane, you see the gold logo, you see like OG Spider-Man, secret rare like double. So yeah, I get it, feeling yourself. You make it so that if Spidey 29 were to sell out, and I didn't expect it to, it'd be like 90,000. I was like, you know what, you're probably gonna make 50, 60 grand on this. And then it sold out. Here's why. And it was at $40. You had a common, there was 2,099 of them. You had a special edition, and you had a secret rare. The math worked out where you had like an 11-ish% chance of making money. 11-ish% chance of getting either the special edition or the secret rare. Special edition, I think you made like $200-ish. That was a secret rare. Special edition was like $1,000. That was insane. And then the common, $10. But it sold out in an instant, I think partially because you gave that scarcity, and the odds of getting those two scarce things were quite high compared to a lot of other drops. And then with Johnny Storm, the most recent Fantastic Four collectible we have, and a lot of comics, and that's all been doing fantastic. Love that. And I understand why you did this. You said, hey, we sold out in a second Spidey 2099, which is arguably a not as good a character because it's been around for not nearly as long. Nobody really knew who he was before 5 years ago. But Johnny Storm, Marvel's first family, been here for a long time. And now you also have him coming off the heels of his own movie, Fantastic Four, First Steps. Amazing. So I understand why not only you kept what made the other drops successful, you have even less commons. You had same amount of secret rare and same amount or similar amount of special editions, but you added another 800 something rare. Usually a rare is okay, not really what you want to get, but not the worst, not like an uncommon, right? And you say like, okay, well if the other one sold out in like a couple seconds, maybe this doesn't sell out in seconds, maybe this takes a while, but it might sell out eventually. I understand why you did that. And that's just the blind box. You also had the crafts, which were great, the secret rare, which sold out, and then the ultra rare, which did not sell out. But again, they're crafts. That's separate from the blind box. The blind box on that day, even like a couple days after, made like a third of what this Spidey 2099 did. It's like, okay, maybe you had the ultra rare and secret rare crafts that that took a little bit maybe away from the blind box. Maybe that's possible. It definitely did. How much of it, if you took those away, would this drop have sold out? No. altogether now, after like a week later, yeah, the whole drop made 50K. Nothing to sneeze at, not bad. But it's clear that the drop mechanics of adding that rare was a detriment. That was a net negative for the drop and for the people that went for the drop, because now you don't have an 11-ish% chance of making money. Now that draws you back to like a 7 or 8% chance of making money. And it's a lot less. And a lot of people, like once they bought it, what they bought, the value went down. So then comes the Buzz Lightyear drop. And I'm thinking like, okay, Spidey 29.9 was not a first appearance. Johnny Storm, not a first appearance. Buzz Lightyear, also not a first appearance. It looks cool. It looks great. Not only did you keep what was clearly a net negative on the Johnny Storm drop, you kept that rare. You have the ultra rare in there. Okay, people might like the ultra, probably still make money on that. But you added 1,400 uncommons, which I guarantee you nobody asked for. And I get it, you dropped the price, but the price wasn't the issue. The price was fine. People are okay paying that price. But you had this is where I don't get this, because you kept the rare, which again, that was the difference maker in that super successful drop versus the, well, we still made money drop, which did arguably a lot worse. You added the ultra rare. Okay, it's something that's also scarce. You have the secret rare, you have the special edition. Cool, we have a couple scarce things. But the rare is not going to make money. No one's going to want it. And the uncommon, same thing. No one's going to want that. That'll go for $2 to $3 in the secondary. This will likely not sell. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am, like, I was not excited when Gal Gadot was cast as Wonder Woman. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, because she was really skinny, and then she put on a bunch of muscle. I was like, oh my God, Wonder Woman was great. Like that, thank God I was 100% wrong. And maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think I am. And I've seen it for Marvel Comics, where you guys have a certain amount of mint numbers that you're putting out and say, oh, actually, we're going to change it to this. So I know you guys can change the mint numbers. Please, I don't care that the uncommon, like the uncommon, the secret rare is animated. Now, don't get me wrong, that special edition looks amazing. That will go for hundreds, if not $1,000 or more, because that looks so freaking cool. But it's negated by the fact that you have so many other editions. And I get it. We have a lot more users than we did 2 months ago. But how many of them are bots, and how many of them are only there when you are guaranteed to make some money, which this drop is definitely not. Speaking of which, I was talking to Dr. Stuff after the Omi Homie show that we just did, and I've always been a big proponent of having David just really just not show up. I've always been a big proponent of him. Like, hey, your time is valuable. You got stuff to do, and I would rather David be working on a deal, doing whatever, than coming on the show. As much as we would like him to do that, and again, we'll get to that in a minute. I'd rather him do that than go on spaces where I get it. I understand hanging out with your community and showing some love. Like, and maybe you have to do that for whatever it is, maybe just a little mental health. Maybe you want to just keep a pulse on the community, which I feel like somebody in your organization should be doing that anyway. I feel like you could have this like 25-year-old in there, pay him like 40 grand a year just to watch all this stuff, to listen to all this stuff, and that's their job, right? But you make that declaration earlier this year to be a founder-led community, and they're going to be, you are going to be the faces of VeVe, and then which again, I understand if you want to do that. Pudgy Penguins does that. Pudgy Penguins has done exceedingly well, especially at San Diego Comic-Con, where David and the guy from Pudgy Penguins is there. Now, they both talked about their NFTs. Perfect. There is no... Omi does not succeed if VeVe does not succeed. So you got to talk about the NFTs. Glad that David did that. But Pudgy Penguins made a specific point to also talk about their Pengu token. That did not happen with David. I think it would behoove you guys to talk about the token. And I understand that, again, my wants of like, hey, yeah, let David sign these licenses. Let him do all these stuff. But that was kind of before, in the bear market. We are very clearly in a bull market now. And it's clear that, you know, Pudgy Penguins is like 15 ETH, and you have Milady Makers, which is like insane. Same thing. And Moonbirds is $13,000 now, a $13,000 floor. Why? It's because they keep doing airdrops for their people. It's because you have the founders that are going in and they are talking about what they're doing, and it's great to do that with VeVe, but it seems that, and I this borderlines on cliche, but the time is now. I know that we had the Jurassic Park license for like 2 years before we ever used it. I know that we had signed Alex Ross years before he ever came on. I don't want David to think so far in the future that he forgets like the bull market is here right now. I understand that signing IPs right now, that'll be great 2 years from now. That's awesome. But in the same way Peter Parker tells Tony Stark, it's hard to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man when there's no neighborhood. If you don't make enough money in the bull run, like the ants from A Bug's Life, if you don't gather enough food and seed for the grasshoppers or whatever, you know, you're not gonna be able to get enough for yourself. If you don't make enough money in the bull run, surviving the next bear market is going to be a bit more difficult. Surviving this one sucked, but you know, you did it because of how much money you made last bull. I love that David had posted about the OMI token in one of his posts the other day, just saying all the things that it can do. It's on Stacker. You can buy X, Y, and Z with it. Here's what you can do with it. That's great. I feel like talking about the token, even if it's scripted, like go out and do that. I think that's what it takes. And again, I could be wrong, but I do see other communities doing that. And speaking of other communities, you have a litany of other communities that are doing airdrops, like, again, Moonbirds doing airdrops for their stuff. Same thing with Pudgy Penguin. Same thing with a lot of these other communities giving airdrops to the people that hold their NFT, hold their token. And the SEC is not going after any of them. That time to worry has passed. And I love that we're going to get something spectacular for the gold logo holders here in Vegas. But that's one of those things that you might be able to do for OMI homies. You might be able to do for people that don't have gold logo holders. Maybe they have something else, the Ecomi Secret Rare logo or whatever it is. I mean, you did it once. How much time does it take to kind of do that again? You could have one of your people make it with AI. You could airdrop it. You could do an OMI only drop, in which case that burns OMI. Let us know how much that would be, and we'll see if we can, you know, raise some of the money for it. Anyway, that looks like it'll be it for me. With that being said, I've done nothing but buy VeVe NFTs lately. I've done nothing but stack the token. I'm at 275 million now, and unless the thesis of the company changes, my goal is still going to be a billion OMI before the end of the year or before we start to rocket. That's just my own personal goals. Anyway, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Bye. Meow.